in connection to the formula for our principle of inclusion and exclusion, specifically for two finite sets A and B here, we're able to come up with this identity, and this video will focus on proving this. Okay, so it states here, by the way, before we forget, our A, and then we have here the bar, this is actually means the complement of A, or in other notation, we have something like that. Okay, that would mean there exists universal set. Okay, there exists universal set which covers both A and B. Okay, now this point here is, this identity talks about the cardinality of the intersection of the complement of A and B is equal to the cardinality of B less the cardinality of the intersection of A and B. For this specific identity, let me show you two different ways to prove this one. Okay, the first proof for this is understanding on a specific counting argument for our joint in these joint sets. So let us try to illustrate that using this given Venn diagram here. We have here A and we have here B, or let me do it again because there is an assurance that the intersection of A and B exists, right? So this is again the universal set. This is our set A and set B, and again the intersection exists. Now our set B, which is this one here, comprises of a union of two different intersections. The first intersection is, if we talk about the intersection of A and B, the intersection is actually, as mentioned, this portion here. Okay, this is the intersection of A and B. This is the area common to both A and B. And if we're going to talk about the intersection of our complement of A and B, it will actually talks about all the rest outside A, okay, all the rest outside A, and its intersection with B, which corresponds alone to this red here, because this is the area outside of A and common to B. Okay, so with this now, this white region which comprises of the intersection of A and B, and the red one which is actually the intersection of the complement of A, again all these blue portions here in that red, but specifically for that red which the intersection with B. So we can write here that B, sorry for that, B is actually equal to the union of two. We have A intersection B and then A complement intersection B. So B is actually a combination of both. Now, if we're going to talk about the cardinality of B, that would mean we're also going to talk about the cardinality of the intersection of A and B to get union with the intersection of A complement and B. Now, for this time here, this actually talks about the union of two objects. According to the principle of inclusion and exclusion, we can break this into two portions. So we have here the cardinality of B is equal to the cardinality of the first, A intersection B, plus the cardinality of the second, intersection of A complement and B, minus the intersection of the two, right? According to, intersection of A complement intersection B. This according to the principle of inclusion and exclusion. But this portion here, the intersection of these two, okay, looking at this perspective, that this comprises white and this is actually what our red here is, we know that the intersection of A complement B and the intersection of A and B and the intersection of A complement B, their intersection is actually empty because the white one here and the red one do not overlap. With this now, the cardinality of B is just simply, this is now 0, okay? The cardinality of A intersection B plus the cardinality of A complement intersection B. Now, if we're going to move this on this side, you will have here the cardinality of A minus the cardinality of A intersection B is equal to the cardinality of the intersection of A complement and B. or by symmetric property, we will have this form, and this is actually the proof for the identity presented here using the Venn diagram. You have here the intersection, the cardinality of the intersection of A complement and B is equal to the cardinality of B less the cardinality of A intersection B. As mentioned, I'm going to present you here two proofs. That's the first proof, generally very detailed in raw with regards to the Venn diagram. But of course, considering the fact that we have the existence of our universal set, I'm going to give you another proof here. So again, we're trying to prove that the cardinality of the intersection of A complement B is equal to the cardinality of B less the cardinality of intersection of A and B. Okay, so I'm going to show you the process from this part leading to that. Okay, so here comes the proof. We know that the complement of A is just equal to the n universal set minus A. This is by general aspect. And since we know that complement exists, hence there exists the universal set. So with that, let me write it in this manner. The universal set minus A, that's your A complement. By substitution here, okay, or yeah, let me have first, we have here this one without the cardinality. We're going to return to that later. Again, this is actually the universal set minus A. By the way, other notations for minus is that this one. Okay, so it's just the same. Intersection B. Okay, I'm just substituting the notation for A complement with the use of the existence of our universal set. Now, there is an identity or property for sets that if we have a because you want the difference of two sets here, and the result of that is taken with the complement of another set, we can actually distribute that here, stating you will have here the universal set intersection B minus the A intersection B. Okay, by distributive property. Okay, so that's by distribution. Hopefully that is clear. Now, what is the universal set intersection with B? Take note that if this is our Venn diagram, if this is our B, and that's our universal set includes all, and its intersection with B is actually B itself, right? The intersection of the universal set, which is the largest one, and B, which is just a subset of the universal set, is the set B itself. So you have here B minus, then we have here A intersection B. This is the intersection of A complement and B. Now, if we take the cardinality of that, another property will hold because we cannot simply break this into two portions. Okay? So, I'm going to use other page here for an illustration so that you will be able to understand that it doesn't necessarily complete the proof by breaking the parts of our cardinality, saying you will have that or saying we will have this and that automatically. No, because we have also another property for that. I'm presenting you this next proof so that you'll be able to establish as well some of the important identities and properties on sets. So with this, actually, if we have here this property x and y is actually equal to, or let's replace it here, equal to the cardinality of x minus the cardinality in x intersection y. So for this alone, okay, for that alone, we can break that into, again, we have here the cardinality of the intersection of A complement and B, the cardinality of B minus the cardinality of B intersection A intersection B, because this is actually our x, this is our y, that's our x, right? Similar to that. Okay, so moving here, the cardinality of the intersection of A complement and B, so this is still okay as is. But what do you think is the result for this portion here? Now, if we have B intersection with the intersection of A and B, and we know that under intersection, sets are commutative and associative, so we can simply say B intersection B. I'm using here commutativity and associativity for intersection. The intersection of B and B is just B itself, or A intersection B. Hopefully this is understandable, because if you're going to take the intersection of B to their intersection with A, it's just equal to the A intersection B. So basically, the last form is still the intersection of A and B. So this is the other proof for the identity presented before. So this is by the use of the properties identities for sets, and the other one earlier was looking into the idea of the existence of the what do you call this one, a set and its, I mean, the intersection of a set to another set and its a complement to the same set. So we'll have this here. This is another form. We're able to arrive, by the way, here. This is our first proof, and the second proof, the red one, constitutes the properties of sets. We'll have another one. We're going to prove another, before we go to that, what's the implication of this? Why do we need this one? Again, we're still in the topic of inclusion and exclusion. Of course, if it's very obvious, because we're going to look into this commonly, we have here, like we're going to talk about, say for example, divisibility. How many numbers less than 100 are divisible by 2, or 3, or 5? So it fits this criteria, and we're just going to use the formula presented before. But what if the question here is, how many integers are under 100 is not divisible by 2 or divisible by 3? So in that perspective, not divisible by 2 or divisible, the other side is a positive, or divisible by 3. This is what we're going to use here. If it's and, okay. What if it is a statement? Not divisible by 2 and it's divisible by 3. Or let's say, how many integers less than 100 are divisible by 3 and not divisible by 2? So this actually, this is how it works. This is the not one, the complement, and this is without the not. So we're going to use this formula. Okay? So this is an identity needed for that. Of course, you're going to look at the property of, or the principle of inclusion and exclusion as a whole, if we're going to look into that. But if that's the simple question, how many integers less than 100 are divisible by 3 and not divisible by 2, or but not divisible by 2, so you will have to use this formula here. That's why we prove that, so that we can use that in the future dealing. So we'll have again another identity or equality for a said principle, and that will be in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.